Every night my grandpa would hang my mom from a ceiling beam, cinch her waist tight with satin ribbons, and even tie a papaya to each of her feet until she could barely breathe. And just when she finally made it through that round of torture, he would force her to chug a whole bucket of papaya milk. Over time, my mom grew slim-waisted, long-legged, soft-skinned, and she even carried this sweet milky scent all over her body. But then, Grandpa took her to the Yellow River and offered her up as a sacrifice to the Dragon King. Before she could even react, she was dragged straight back to the Dragon Palace. "You bastard, let me go." But the Dragon King ignored her and forced himself on her. "It hurts." Who would have thought less than half a month later, my mom's belly started to swell. The Dragon King was overjoyed and immediately threw a feast in the Dragon Palace. My mom secretly thought carrying the Dragon King's child would finally earn her status and honor. But the very next second, the Dragon King's cold voice came through. "Once the dragon child is born, I'll swallow the brat whole and use his true dragon bloodline to gain another 100 years of power." My mother only wanted to get me safely into this world. So that day, she used the last of her strength to escape from the Yellow River Dragon Palace. By sheer chance, she ran into a green snake that had failed its tribulation and was covered in wounds. Trembling, my mom handed her newborn me over and weakly begged, "Please protect him. He's a dragon child with a true dragon bloodline. One day he'll repay your kindness." Before her words had even faded, my mother collapsed from exhaustion and was swept away by the raging Yellow River, never to be seen again. But the next second, that badly injured green snake flicked out her tongue and transformed into a graceful woman in green, then pulled me steadily into her arms. "Fine, my name is Lu Wanning. From now on, I'll be your master." That very night, she told the whole world I was a dragon child. People believed that anyone blessed with dragon aura was destined to rise. Not long after the news got out, marriage proposals came pouring in like wolves smelling meat, packing our doorway in the middle of a storm. Rich merchants brought gold bars. Officials showed up with land deeds. My master just held me and laid down one iron rule. Only a phoenix-fated girl born in a phoenix year, phoenix month, and phoenix day could marry me and use my dragon aura to change her fate. Some people questioned whether I was real. Why should we believe this? How do we know this dragon child is even real? My master didn't argue, she just lightly patted me. I burst into tears and somehow my crying formed an invisible shield. The storm stopped 3 feet around me like it had slammed into an unseen wall, then scattered in every direction. The crowd went wild, dropping to their knees and begging for blessings, all hoping their own daughter would be chosen. After round of screening, my master finally kept 18 two-year-old phoenix-fated girls. Then she lightly cut my fingertip, bound them to me with a contract, and ordered them to protect me with their lives that night. Sure enough, that night thunder exploded. A once-in-a-century downpour crashed down, and the Yellow River slammed against the banks like a crazed beast. Even the ground trembled, and mixed in with the wind was a chilling dragon roar. The Dragon King had tracked me down through the faint trace of dragon aura. Luckily, with the 18 phoenix girls shielding me with their phoenix aura, I was completely safe and slept till morning. The next morning, my master sent all those girls away and gave their families a grave warning. From this day on, these girls will all rise to the top in life, and your families will prosper too. But that good fortune will only last 18 years. After 18 years, one of them must marry my disciple. If you go against it, your luck will run dry, and disaster will follow. And just like my master said, the 18 phoenix girls bound by contract all hit a streak of insane luck. The luckiest one picked up a lottery ticket on her way home from school and won 500 million, turning her ordinary working-class family into top-tier rich overnight. Even the last one to get lucky received a demolition payout notice from her hometown 3 months later, and the compensation was already in the 8 figures. All 18 families got rich overnight and lived in glory. But my master never looked happy about it. Then on my 8th birthday, the calm sky was suddenly swallowed by dark clouds with no warning. "Shubai, come here now." The moment she saw it, my master's face changed and her voice turned more urgent than I'd ever heard. "At midnight tonight, you'll turn 8. Your true dragon bloodline is starting to awaken, and your dragon aura won't stay hidden much longer. For the past 8 years, I've used my own cultivation to keep the balance between phoenix aura and dragon aura, but now I can't hold on anymore. I have to go into seclusion and sleep. From here on out, I can't protect you anymore. You'll have to walk this road on your own. For the next 10 years, follow these addresses and stay with one phoenix girl each year. Living beside them and sharing that connected fate will confuse the Dragon King's senses, so he won't be able to pinpoint where you are. These sunglasses don't just fool people's eyes. They're a seal forged from my own essence, and they can suppress the strange signs in your pupils. You must pretend to be blind. Never let anyone, especially those 18 families, see what's in your eyes. The second your dragon aura leaks out, the Dragon King will come for you immediately, and no one will be able to save your life."
届时无人能护你。
As soon as she finished speaking, her figure slowly turned transparent, then faded into a wisp of green smoke and disappeared into the wind.
次日，我戴上墨镜，
The next day, I put on the sunglasses, clenched the 18 wooden tags carved with the Phoenix girls' addresses in my hand, and walked out of the house alone. I pulled one at random and followed the address all the way into the city. When I got close to the house, I deliberately slowed down and acted like a blind kid feeling his way around and asking for directions, inching up to the front gate before gently pressing the doorbell. The one who opened the door was the girl's mother. I quickly pulled out the token from the blood pact made years ago and quietly begged her to let me stay for 1 year. At first, the girl's family was still polite to me out of respect for the token and the dragon aura. But as time went on, they realized I was all alone, and once they found out my master had long since disappeared, their attitude turned colder by the day. You could see the contempt all over their faces. The worst of it came when I was 12 and living with the 6th Phoenix girl, Bai Ningbing. She was already 14 then, stunningly beautiful, with peach blossom eyes and the proud, polished air of a rich girl. From the moment I stepped into her house, she never once looked me in the eye. To her, I was just some annoying blind kid. She ordered me around like I was some lowly dog and wouldn't let me touch any of her things. She refused to sleep in the same room as me, and every day she forced me to kneel and wash her feet and massage them. One time I moved a little too slowly, and she snapped. She grabbed my head, shoved it hard into the foot washing basin, and tried to force me to drink her dirty foot water. I fought back with everything I had, so she kicked the basin over and dumped that foul, stinking water right over my head, soaking me from top to bottom. Then, on the day my year was finally up and I was leaving, the second I stepped out the front door, she started setting off fireworks behind me. That sky full of bright lights and noise felt like countless icy needles stabbing straight into my heart. In that moment, I was furious, humiliated, and full of hurt. And just like that, years went by with me living under other people's roofs. But I never let myself go to waste. Over the years, not only did I fully master everything my master taught me, I also awakened the true dragon bloodline sleeping inside me. But my master warned me again and again that I could never reveal even a hint of my power. Otherwise, that dragon king who wanted to devour my dragon bloodline would come for me immediately. I had godlike power inside me, and I had to play a helpless blind man getting pushed around. That frustration and that silence ate at me for a full 10 years. By the time I finally made it to 18 and moved into my last host family, Su Unions, 18 years of fortune had already built the Su family into a real estate empire, and Su Union herself was a top idol dominating the entertainment industry, worshipped by millions. But she didn't see me as a person at all. Just for kicks, she'd bring her rich kid fans straight back to the house, getting all touchy-feely right in front of me, no shame whatsoever. Hey, that blind dude's literally sitting right there, so who cares? He's basically a piece of furniture. Can't see a thing anyway. What's there to worry about, huh? After that, filthy words and a nauseating stench filled the entire room, right in front of my face. The most humiliating disrespect you could imagine. But I couldn't move, couldn't let anything slip. Those few seconds were the most torturous of my entire life. I finally ground through to the 1-year mark. The last year any of the 18 Phoenix women were bound to protect me. If I wanted to survive, inaudible, I had to choose one of these 18 women and marry her, inaudible. I quietly made my way back to the old house. The yard was overgrown with weeds. The wind chimes were rusted over. But in the main hall, a full red groom's outfit was laid out neatly on the bed. My master had prepared it long ago. I put on the wedding suit, sat down in the chair, and waited from daylight until dark. Not a single one of the 18 Phoenix women showed up to honor the vow. Then, out of nowhere, a familiar voice came from outside the door. "Look at you, all grown up. You look great in that groom's suit." I spun around in disbelief and saw my master slowly walking in through the door. He looked just as young and striking as ever, but his face was pale, almost transparent, and his whole figure looked faint like a ghost. "Master, why are you back? I was worried about you. Had to come check on you." He smiled and reached out to fix my collar. I knew. He'd forced himself out of closed-door cultivation. For me, he was literally risking his life. "Master? They're not coming." "Says who? I'll bring them here myself." "But none of them want to marry me. If they had any sense, they'd be on their knees begging to marry you. To repay the debt they owe you for all those years of fortune. But if truly no one is willing, then you're gonna have to take that dragon blood back yourself. Don't embarrass me." I didn't fully catch what he meant. My face was burning up. He looked at me, his eyes full of a tenderness he could barely hold back. He was quiet for a long moment, then suddenly pressed a small pouch into my hand. I went to open it, but he stopped me. "This pouch is just a last resort. If truly no one agrees to marry you, opening it might just save your life. But don't open it unless you absolutely have to. I'm not sure you can handle it." Before I could ask anything else, he turned and rose into the air. He formed a hand seal, and 18 paper cranes flew out from his sleeves, scattering in every direction. And just like that, his figure dissolved into a stream of light and vanished. I sat in the main hall, gripping the pouch, nerves on edge, listening to the sound of engines closing in outside. 18 luxury cars rolled up like a convoy of beasts and parked in front of my rundown little yard. The doors swung open one by one, and 18 elegantly beautiful women stepped out. Fortune really does do wonders. Every single one of them. Stunning figure, stunning face. But the weird thing was, each of them was carrying a black plastic bag, stuffed full of something. No clue what was inside. Kuchixia was rocking a wine-red fishtail dress. Total boss lady energy. I remember when she was a kid, she tricked blind me onto the middle of a highway. If my reflexes hadn't been sharp, I'd have been flattened by a truck. Binding Bing had on a black leather jacket over a white cropped tank top, paired with a black leather skirt, smirking like she was here for the show. But I'll never forget the days she made me wash her feet and give her massages. Su Union, blue royal-style gown, elegant, regal, almost ethereal. But she had cheated on me right to my face. There's no way I'm picking her. Yu Kyuksu, ivory off-shoulder fishtail gown, gorgeous and refined. She looked down on me, sure, but she never actually did anything to hurt me. And her features? Classic good luck for her husband type. Maybe she's the one. While I was daydreaming about my options, Yu opened her mouth. "Hey, Shu! Those are some seriously long legs. Why don't you just marry Chung Shubai? You'd make a perfect walking stick for our little dragon boy." Kikujixia gave a cold smirk and cut a glance toward the main hall. "Your eyes are pretty, I'll give you that. Perfect for guiding a blind man around." The humiliation hit me like a wave. These Phoenix women, all looking flawless on the outside, pure venom on the inside. Then out of nowhere, Binding Bing snapped. "Enough! What is wrong with you people? Because of his dragon blood, we have everything we have today. How dare you talk about him like that? We've been betrothed to him since we were kids. It's his right to choose one of us to marry." I froze. Wait, did I have her all wrong? That girl who got off on humiliating me. Was she actually a softie underneath it all? Shu Jixia fired back without missing a beat. We each protected him for a year. Without us, he'd already be dead. That debt? It's been paid in full. Zhu Yonian chimed in. Yeah, like anyone would actually want to marry him. Don't count us in on this. Bai Ningbing blurted it out. Fine, I'll marry him. So what? She ran over and knocked on the main hall door. Her voice was sickeningly sweet. Shubai, you in there? I'm here to do the wedding ceremony. I pretended I just heard her. Fumbled my way to the door. Stumbled outside. To really sell the whole blind act, I purposely tripped over the doorstep and face planted right on the ground. The whole courtyard burst out laughing. But Bai Ningbing caught me, her voice soft. Mube, you okay? Did you get hurt? My heart warmed up a little. Maybe I really could end up with a good wife. Yeah, we had a rough history. But if she's genuinely a good person, and actually willing to marry me, I'd put in the work to fall for her. I smiled and looked up, and caught a glimpse through my shades of the most vicious smirk on her face. All while using that sweet, gentle voice, she said, Shubai, I'm willing to marry you. She put on a glove and pulled out a disgusting, pus-covered dead toad from a little box behind her, and shoved it right in my face. Shubai, give me a little kiss. One kiss and the ceremony's done. My mind went completely blank. The whole courtyard went dead silent. I looked around. Every Phoenix girl was watching like it was a show. Not a single one spoke up to warn me. I glanced over at Yukyusu. She'd quietly slipped to the back of the crowd, watching coldly. I played dumb like I hadn't noticed a thing. Slowly stretched my neck and leaned in. Bai Ningbing even held her breath, pushing that toad closer and closer to my mouth, eyes full of anticipation, just as my lips were about to touch it. I silently channeled a pure yang dragon energy from my fingertip and drove it straight into the toad. That dead toad snapped back to life instantly, opened its mouth and let out a nasty screech, started thrashing around, and lunged straight at Bai Ningbing's face. Bai Ningbing screamed and jumped back. The toad dropped to the ground and hopped off into the bushes. I pretended to be startled. What was that, Ningbing? Did I just hear a toad? Bai Ningbing was still shaking. No, it's nothing, and just a rat. This dump hasn't had anyone living in it for too long. There's rats. I grabbed her wrist and smiled. It's fine, let's keep going with the ceremony. Without the toad as backup, Bai Ningbing panicked. She started struggling like crazy, started running her mouth. Let go of me, you blind piece of trash. Who said they'd marry you? Get your hands off me! 18 years of rage. The fury I'd been holding back nearly broke through right then and there. My dragon aura started leaking out, completely out of control. Bai Ningbing went pale as a ghost. She couldn't move an inch. Then suddenly the sky went dark with storm clouds. The faint shape of a dragon flickered through the clouds. A massive thunderclap cracked down. I snapped back to my senses. Damn it, in the heat of the moment, that tiny bit of dragon energy I let slip from my fingertip. The Dragon King sensed it. I yanked back my aura immediately, let go of Bai Ningbing's hand, but she thought I'd been scared off by the thunder. Xian immediately got cocky again, raised her hand and slapped me hard across the face. Her nails dragged 3 bloody lines across my cheek. A blind man. Can't even look at yourself in the mirror? Think about whether you're even worthy. When I said I'd marry you, I was just messing with you. You actually believed that. I forced down the rage burning inside me and said low and steady, You said it yourself in front of everyone. Out of your own mouth, well, you'd marry me. Bai Ningbing let out a cold laugh. Stepped back 2 paces. Oh, you want me to marry you? Sure. You're hurting my wrist. Get on your knees and bow your head to apologize. Then maybe I'll think about it. The Phoenix girls heard that and perked right up. Yeah, get on your knees. Who do you think you are? Acting like you have options. I took a slow, deep breath, pushed down the fury rising up in me. Breaking the contract. Aren't you afraid your luck's gonna run dry? That disaster's coming for you? Shu Jixia scoffed. 1 drop of blood and you think you own us for life? We're all billion-dollar families. Even if we give your dragon blood back, we're not gonna fall apart. Bai Ningbing heard that and seemed to suddenly remember something. She laughed and picked up a black plastic bag off the ground and hurled it straight at my face. You want your dragon blood back? Here you go. Bag wasn't tied tight enough. Hit the ground and rolled open. I instinctively looked down. Inside were dirty, blood-soaked cotton pads. My hands started trembling. The rage was too much to hold in. And at the same time, the sound of smacking and hitting filled the air. The Phoenix girls all started hurling their black bags at me, blood-stained cotton pads raining down everywhere. They were losing it, cackling like crazy, doubling over laughing. He can't see a thing! Throw it in his face! Ha ha ha! The dragon's son, just a blind trash picker. I had given them precious dragon blood, a blessing that could change their whole lives. And now they were repaying me with this filth. This humiliation cut deeper than everything they'd ever done to me combined. They stood over me, looking down at me like I was nothing, smirks dripping with contempt, stomping all over my dignity. But what they didn't know was, through the gap in my shades, I could see every single one of their faces clearly. Every forehead, dark as death, shrouded in a death aura. Their days were numbered. Look at your foreheads, black energy radiating off you, disaster written all over you. And you're still standing here feeling proud of yourselves? You really think the karma you've racked up can just be bought off that easy? Suddenly, the wind picked up and the sky went dark. A pressure, far more terrifying than before, crashed down like a mountain range falling from the sky. My whole body sank, bones creaking under the weight, every muscle locked up tight. My energy surging wildly. I knew this presence all too well. He's here, that old monster. The Yellow River Dragon King had tracked down the dragon energy and found me. Nobody's leaving here alive tonight. I was done dealing with these clowns. I grabbed the pouch my master left me and yanked it open. Inside was a crimson-red marriage contract. The edges of the paper glowed with a faint golden light, clearly forged with refined spiritual essence. One side had my birth chart. The other side, in elegant, delicate script, bore another girl's birth chart. My heart lurched. This chart was cold, solitary, desolate. Definitely not a Phoenix destiny. It carried a subtle serpentine energy instead. Those women never wanted to marry a blind man like me anyway. Now that they had a way out, they couldn't bolt fast enough. They threw out a few snide remarks, then stumbled over each other, rushing out of the courtyard. The engines of 18 luxury cars tore through the night. They peeled out like a pack of strays with their tails between their legs. Terrified Liu Wanning might change her mind and come after them, I quietly activated my dragon eye. A golden light swept across the direction they left. The moment they stepped out the gate, each person's fate palace darkened rapidly. The borrowed dragon fortune faded away. A dark, toxic energy coiled around them like a serpent, the unmistakable omen of betrayal's consequences. The courtyard fell quiet again. Liu Wanning leaped down and landed right in front of me. The sharp look in her eyes softened the moment they met mine, melting into pure tenderness. Her cool fingertips gently brushed the dust from my cheek. Her voice carried that familiar fussing warmth. Look at this dummy, actually worried about his master. I gripped the marriage contract, throat tight. Master, I was just talking out of anger earlier. The birth chart on this contract. He leaned in close to my ear, his breath warm and gentle. What 19th girl, are you scared? I'm not scared. I looked up, stubborn. Even if the Dragon King swallows me whole, I'd never beg those women who turned their backs on me. Liu Wanning smiled, eyes curving warmly. But before the smile even faded, a thunderclap suddenly cracked across the sky. Rain came crashing down in sheets. His expression went serious. He grabbed me and pulled me inside, bolting the doors and windows. He cupped my face in both hands. His eyes were so gentle they looked like they could melt. Even though none of them wanted to marry you, how about your master marries you instead? It hit me like a lightning bolt. I just stared at him, frozen. The birth chart on the contract, it was my master's. That's serpent destiny. Was my master not a celestial being but a snake demon? What, you don't want your master? No, absolutely not. I shook my head frantically, heart pounding like a drum. There's no time. The Dragon King is close. If you want to live, we do the ceremony right now. Without another word, he pulled me down to kneel before the simple altar. 3 bows, 9 kowtows, forehead to the ground. The moment my head touched the floor, a wave of calm washed over my entire body. From now on, I'm not your master anymore. I'm your wife. Quick, give me a drop of dragon blood. Master's voice carried a sharp urgency. My heart raced. Without even thinking, I bit into my finger. Blood dripped freely. He stepped forward quickly, taking my fingertip between his lips, warm lips pressing against my skin. A tingling electric current shot through my entire body. I went completely stiff, turned my head away, too embarrassed to look at him. The dragon blood entered his body. His soul form seemed to solidify slightly. He carefully bandaged my finger, then turned to look out the window. Through the lightning and thunder, a faint dragon's roar echoed in the distance. His expression grew even more grave. Are you ready, husband? Let's go to the bridal chamber. My face went red, heart hammering. I nodded and followed. In the dim room, my hands trembled as I reached out and gently wrapped my arms around his slender waist. The skin under my fingertips was ice cold, a stark contrast to the heat of my palms. So warm. His voice was drowsy and hazy. He leaned into my arms like he was melting. I swallowed hard. Couldn't help but ask, getting on the Dragon King's bad side for me. Was it worth it? He slowly lifted his head. A sly glint flashed through his eyes. His finger drew lazy circles on my chest. Don't flatter yourself, I'm not that noble. 18 years ago, I failed a dragon drawing ritual. Cold poison entered my body, tormenting me day and night, until I found you. Only by holding you with your pure yang body could I actually feel any warmth. A pang of disappointment hit me, but before I could dwell on it, he suddenly pushed me away and lit the oil lamp. I stood there, stunned. He looked at me with an amused smile. Listen, you're still immortal. Your cultivation is too weak. If we go further, you won't be able to handle the karmic weight of a master and disciple marriage. With that, he reached into his robe and pulled out a small pouch of 5-colored rice. This rice is made from my spiritual essence mixed with dragon energy. Condensed and refined, 1 grain a day. It'll stabilize your physical body and slowly nourish your dragon vein. It lets you gradually awaken your dragon power, without tipping anyone off. Once you've reclaimed the dragon blood owed by those 18 women, you'll be completely reborn. Come find me then. He turned and walked out of the room, returning with a paper figure that looked exactly like me. This will take the hits for you. It'll hold for 1 year. Within that year, you have to get every one of those women to complete the ceremony with you. Otherwise, the Dragon King will eventually come for your life. The words barely left his mouth when his body swayed, nearly collapsed. I rushed to catch him. His face had gone completely pale, his whole body growing more transparent by the second. I forced through a seal restriction just now. On top of taking your dragon blood, I can't hold on. Before he even finished, he dissolved into a streak of green light and slipped into the marriage contract. Only a faint voice lingered in the room. Run, husband, now! The Dragon King has locked onto this area. If you don't leave right now, it'll be too late. A thunderbolt slammed into the center of the courtyard. The old house shook violently. Roof tiles cascaded down. Without my master's power holding things together, the Dragon King's terrifying pressure crashed down like a mountain. I could barely breathe. I shoved the marriage contract into my inner pocket, burst through the door into the pouring rain, and ran 6 miles straight without stopping. My lungs were on fire. I looked back. Flames lit up the sky in the distance. My master's old home, swallowed by fire and lightning. In the flash of lightning, a massive black shadow churned and roared through the clouds. The Dragon King was really here. 18 years of running and hiding. I thought today was finally my breakthrough. Turns out I was just going to keep running. Was I really going to spend my whole life surviving only by marrying Phoenix women? I lived to 60 and I'd need 42 of them. A wild idea took root in my mind. If I wanted to end this, the Dragon King had to die. And the first step right now was reclaiming the dragon blood those 18 women owed me. 6 months later, Jiangcheng opened a fortune-telling shop called Wengshin Jai. 1 reading per day, only for those with fate. No price could buy a slot. I sat in the Grand Master's chair, playing with my walnuts, half mask covering my face, and the golden dragon eyes beneath. 6 months on my master's 5-colored rice, and not only had I stabilized my body, I'd awakened part of my dragon vein's power. On the back of that alone, Wengshin Jai had built quite a name on the old street. Every client was wealthy or well-connected. but I didn't care about the money. I was waiting for the ones who owed me dragon blood to walk right through my door. "Excuse me, is the master in?" A woman's voice called out from the entrance. My hand froze on the walnut. The corner of my mouth curled into a cold smile. I'd know that voice even if she'd turned to ash. Binding Bing. I lowered my voice, playing the part of a mysterious sage. A tall figure pushed through the door. Nothing like the arrogant high society princess from 6 months ago. A completely different person. She looked gaunt and worn, eyes bloodshot, glancing around nervously, like something was following her. The moment she stepped inside, she dropped to her knees, begging desperately. "Master, please save me. I can't take it anymore. For the past 6 months, I've had nightmares every single night. Dreaming of a toad covered in festering sores. Sitting on my chest, draining my energy. My company's orders keep falling through. Our partners all pulled out. The family's stocks hit rock bottom. I got hit by a flower pot walking out the door. Got a blowout while driving. I've tried every method to break the curse. Nothing works. The more I try to fix it, the worse it gets. I'm at my breaking point. I set down my teacup, flicked my finger. 3 copper coins dropped into the tortoise shell. A soft rattling sound. I slid the tortoise shell across to her, voice dropping a few degrees colder. The hexagram doesn't lie. See for yourself. This reading, betrayal and broken faith. All fortune exhausted. Disaster closing in. Think hard. 6 months ago, did you do something that went against your conscience? Something ungrateful and disloyal? Binding Bing's face drained of color instantly, lips trembling. She opened her mouth. Tears streamed down. She choked up and began to speak, but was still making excuses for herself. "Master, I'll tell you everything. 6 months ago, there was this blind man in an old house. He was engaged to me, an arranged marriage my parents got tricked into. He kept trying to force me to marry him. I was scared, so me and my girls humiliated him a bit and gave back the token he'd given me. I never thought the bad luck would start right after that. Master, did that blind man die and come back to haunt me?" I laughed coldly to myself. In her version, I was the villain forcing her into marriage. He's not dead. What you've got isn't a haunting. It's karmic backlash. That blind man is no ordinary person. You benefited from his fortune and blessings for years. That's why you rose so fast. Now you've betrayed him and torn up the contract. The fortune is reversing. Disasters will keep piling on. That toad is the physical form of your own malice, and a sign that your luck is gone and your foundation is crumbling. Give it 3 more months and the damage will hit your core. You'll end up buried in illness. Binding Bing trembled head to toe. She snapped her head up to look at me, eyes filled with desperation. "Master, please, save me. I'll pay whatever it costs. Just get rid of this curse. Tell me what to do and I'll do it." I watched her desperate, frantic expression and deliberately shifted my tone, letting a hint of good news creep in. "Saving you isn't hard, but a debt always comes due. You owe 18 years of his blessings. Time to pay up. And you'd better come correct." "Come correct? Master, just tell me. I'll do whatever it takes." Binding Bing grabbed at that lifeline, shuffling forward on her knees, eyes locked on me, desperate. "Sleep with me one night. I'll carry that debt for you." Binding Bing froze, then panicked completely. I cracked a smile at her reaction. "I already told you the method. Pay back what you owe. The curse lifts on its own. But that man died that night. I can't exactly marry a ghost, can I?" I stopped responding. She sat there conflicted, then suddenly seemed to make up her mind. She stood up and walked toward me, hopped up onto the table, and reached for my hand, forced a flirtatious smile onto her face. "Master, I know you must have a way, right? As long as you're willing to help me." I'll do whatever you say." I yanked my hand back with disgust. A wave of revulsion hit me. She turned up the charm. "Shoo by Giga. Can you forgive me? I'll marry you. I'll wash your feet and give you massages every day. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. Okay?" I shook her off with contempt and said coldly, "Save it. For 1 year, whatever I tell you to do, you do it. Cross me even once, and you won't survive what comes next." Binding Bing went quiet for a long moment, wiped her tears, bit her finger and signed a blood pact with me. I casually pushed out a thread of dragon energy, temporarily suppressing the dark aura around her. She crumpled to the floor, cold sweat soaking through her clothes. I patted her on the cheek. "Your job now is to gather the other 17 women and bring them all to me. And don't even think about pulling any tricks. You know what happens if you do." Binding Bing nodded over and over, eyes full of fear. "Understood. I'll get on it right now." 6 months later, Binding Bing used a thank you banquet as cover to bring all 17 women to a secluded hillside villa. The hall was lit up. The usually glamorous heiresses now looked miserable, restless, and on edge. My luck's been absolute trash lately. I even got hit by a flower pot just walking down the street. My stock's been crashing for 3 straight days. I've already lost half my money. At this rate, I'm gonna go bankrupt. This has to be that blind freak's doing. We shouldn't have gone that hard on him that day. Su-Union angrily hurled her designer bag to the floor. "Come on, it's just some shady supernatural crap. What's a blind guy like him gonna do, really?" Shu Jixia rolled her eyes and said sarcastically, "Oh, please. You were the one cussing him out the hardest that day, and now you're trying to play the victim." Just then, the lights in the hall suddenly went dark, and heels clicked from the second floor. Binding Bing came down slowly in an elegant evening gown, then respectfully stepped to the side, like she was waiting for someone important. "Ladies!" Long time no see. My voice came from the shadows. A tall figure slowly stepped out. The black outfit with white patterns made him look sharp and upright. The fluffy white fox collar made his features look even colder, a folding fan in hand, and half his face hidden behind a mask. "Binding Bing, who is this guy?" Su-Union frowned. Binding Bing ignored her. She dropped to her knees at my feet and called out, "Master!" Everyone's here. The whole room went dead silent. Everyone's eyes went wide. No one could believe that the proud Bai family heiress would actually kneel to a stranger and call him master. I let out a soft laugh. Then I took off my mask. My golden dragon eyes stared straight at them. My dear fiancés, it's only been 1 year. And you already don't recognize me. Shubai, you're not dead? The room instantly exploded. Shu Jixia's face went pale. Su Yunian jumped up, like a cat whose tail had just been stepped on. Bai Ningbing, are you insane? You actually teamed up with him to screw us over? Set you up? I walked down the stairs, my dragon aura building layer by layer, crushing them so hard they could barely breathe. 18 years ago, you used my dragon luck to rise to the top. And now, 18 years later, you publicly broke the engagement and humiliated me, then said you'd sit back and watch me die. Now, it's time to pay back the principal and the interest. The second I said that, the chandelier overhead started flickering violently, letting out a harsh electric buzz, and the women started screaming. Su Yunian shouted, trying to sound tough, "Girls, don't panic. He's just bluffing. Let's go." Then she charged for the door. But it wouldn't budge. The next second, a cold wind started howling outside. The sealed windows began banging loudly. The red lanterns turned a sickly green. Countless pale faces pressed against the floor-to-ceiling windows, layer upon layer, staring greedily into the room, letting out eerie little chuckles. I said coldly, "After you broke the deal, the backlash hit, and yin energy clung to you. All of you together became bait for every wandering ghost within miles, without my dragon energy holding it down. With bodies this yin, you are the perfect meal to them." The women huddled together, shaking all over. "Back then, I was the one begging you, and you acted so high and mighty. Now it's your turn to beg me. So tell me, what kind of attitude should you have?" The moment those words landed, the whole room fell silent. Su Yunian and a few girls whose backlash wasn't as bad yet still acted tough. They figured whatever was coming would go after me first. They kept mouthing off, saying I was faking the whole thing. The others just kept watching, terrified of the ghosts, but still hoping for a miracle. But Bai Ningbing had been haunted the worst. Her family was on the verge of bankruptcy. She dropped straight to her knees. "I'm sorry. I'm willing to sign a blood pact and return the dragon luck. I'll do whatever you ask." Su Yunian snapped at her for having no spine. I let out a cold laugh. I flicked my fan and said, "Still talking tough? Then taste what it feels like to be devoured." A gust of yin wind surged outside. Dozens of dark shadows lunged straight at Su Yunian. Icy yin energy wrapped around her. Countless ghostly hands clawed at her. She screamed and stumbled around in panic. No one dared help. The other women instantly cracked. One after another, they dropped to their knees and begged for forgiveness. Only Su Yunian was left, completely breaking down in the swarm of spirits. "I was wrong. I'll marry you. Please make them go away," she cried from the floor. I raised a hand and pulled the spirits back. Looking down at the women sprawled across the floor, I spoke in a cold voice. "All I need is to marry one of you. That alone will buy me 1 more year, and I can also help her break the backlash, keep her wealthy for life, and her family thriving forever. As for the rest of you, who knows what you'll be reduced to a year from now? I sure don't." The second I said that, the whole room went dead silent. The tension spiked instantly. The women all started sizing each other up. Their eyes were full of caution and calculation. There was only one spot, which meant someone would have to betray the rest. "Shubai, I'll marry you." Shu Jixia was the first to react. She rushed over, dropped to her knees, and clung to my leg. Her eyes went soft. "Pick me. My background's clean. I've never even dated anyone. If you want me to call you master from now on, I will." "Get off him! I got here first." Another girl rushed over and shoved Shu Jixia aside. Then she knelt in front of me too. "Shubai, my family is in real estate. We've got money and influence. I'll give you half my company's shares as my dowry, so pick me." The women all swarmed in, fighting to be the lucky one. "Quiet," I barked. The hall instantly fell silent. "I can renew the pact with all of you. But there's one condition." I snapped my fingers. Bai Ningbing placed a drop of blood essence in my hand. "I can help you survive this disaster. Keep your family fortune intact, but the dragon luck on you has to be handed over." Then I started a live stream, looked at the screen and said, "Today I'm taking the dragon luck from all 18 Phoenix girls and giving it out to my viewers. With dragon luck in hand, your fortune's gonna skyrocket." Just as the women were about to sign the blood pact, a sharp scream suddenly came from outside. The 100 ghosts surrounding the villa acted like they'd seen their natural enemy. They scattered in every direction like maniacs and vanished without a trace in seconds. Something was off. Anyone who could scare off 100 ghosts in an instant had to be terrifyingly strong. My heart sank. I counted the people in the hall. 17. One was missing. I grabbed Bai Ningbing. My eyes ice cold. "Who is the 18th girl? Why isn't she here?" Bai Ningbing trembled all over. "It's Yu Kyukshu." I texted her. I called her, but she never answered. So I thought she just didn't want to come. Yu Kyukshu. The name hit my mind like thunder. Out of the 18 girls, she was the only one who never humiliated me. That night at the old mansion, I even thought that if I had to choose one, I hoped it would be her. And yet she was the one who never came. Boom! A deep dragon roar exploded above the villa. The whole building started shaking violently. The lights flickered on and off. Su Yunian collapsed to the floor. The other women all scrambled behind me, screaming nonstop. Then the front door of the villa blew open. A slender figure slowly walked in. It was Yu Kyukshu. She wasn't the quiet, timid girl she used to be. She wore a striking red and black dress. Her long hair spilled down her back. Her face was ice cold, and her eyes carried the arrogance of someone above the whole world. She lifted her gaze toward me. Her voice was cold. Back then, my mother never signed that pact willingly. Liu Wanning forced her by threatening our family's safety. So why should I be the one paying it back? Before she even finished speaking, she slowly raised a hand. The air inside the villa froze solid. Then I realized in horror that the skin of all 17 Phoenix girls was turning pale right before my eyes, their life force draining away. I opened my dragon eyes. There I saw a pitch black shadow. It was coiled behind Yu Kyukshu, greedily devouring the life force in the room. It was the Yellow River Dragon King, and in that moment I understood. Yu Kyukshu had gone straight to the Dragon King to dodge the disaster, and she'd made a deal with him. Yu Kyukshu suddenly smiled. Her laugh was low and hoarse, like two voices layered on top of each other. My dear child, thanks to you, all this feed has finally been gathered for me tonight. I'll swallow them whole, then eat you too and add 100 years to my power. A terrifying pressure came crashing down. My knees buckled and I dropped to the floor. A mouthful of blood burst from my lips. The bloodline suppression made it impossible for me to move. This was actually a father-son showdown. Yu Q flashed in front of me. She seized my throat and lifted me off the ground. My dragon energy was being ripped away from me. I could feel myself suffocating. My vision started to blur. Was I really going to die here? My mother's grudge wasn't avenged yet, and I still hadn't fulfilled my promise to my master. I couldn't accept this, no. I roared with the last bit of strength I had left. Golden light burst from my body. Another power in my blood suddenly woke up. A massive boom erupted from underground. The floor exploded. Chunks of stone flew everywhere. Muddy yellow river water shot up like a fountain. It slammed UQ2 away. In the crashing wall of water, a blurry figure slowly appeared. Surrounded by wailing spirits, it was my mother. Master had told me before. From the day I was born, my mother had been sealed at the bottom of the Yellow River by the Dragon King, suffering endless torment, neither human nor ghost, and now she had broken the seal to stand in front of me. You bitch, even dead you still dare ruin my plans? A black dragon shadow burst out of UQ2. It turned into a massive black dragon. It clawed wildly at my mother's figure. My mother might have been a ghost of pure yin, but in front of the Dragon King's pure yang power, she kept losing ground. Her figure was starting to fade. Shubai, my mother's voice cut through the roar. If you can't escape this disaster, then give the dragon blood to the marriage pact. It protected you for 18 years. If you can't get through this, then it's time for you to repay it. My whole body jolted. Looking at my mother as she was about to disappear, I nodded hard. Then I pulled out the marriage contract I kept on me. I shouted at the women, frozen in shock. What are you still standing there for? Sign the blood pact. And give my dragon blood back! Binding Bing and the others were scared out of their minds. With trembling hands, they pressed their palms onto the blood pact. Golden blood flew out from between their brows. It gathered in my palm. I didn't hesitate. I merged my own dragon blood with those beads of blood, then poured them all into the marriage contract. A shrill scream rang out. My mother's figure was completely torn apart beneath the black dragon's claws. She vanished into the storm. I screamed my lungs out, my heart ripping apart. The black dragon let out a sky-shaking roar, then came down at me like a bolt of black lightning. Right then, the marriage contract suddenly burst with blinding golden light. A cold shout rang through the heavens. Get lost! A massive green serpent phantom burst out of it and sent the black dragon flying. As the light faded, Liu Wanning slowly drifted down, standing protectively in front of me. Her green robes looked like a painting, her long hair whipping in the wind, like a goddess descending from heaven. She turned around, her cool fingertips cupping my face, her eyes full of heartache. Idiot, who told you to charge him head on like that? But my husband's grown up now. At least he won't get played by some girl that easily anymore. Master, run! I was in a panic. My voice was raw and hoarse. He's after me. You've already saved me once. You don't need to die for me again. Liu Wanning looked at me and suddenly smiled. A smile so heartbreakingly beautiful it hurt. The last time I saved you, it was because 18 years ago I failed to become a dragon. The cold poison invaded my body, and you warmed me with your pure yang body. I was only repaying that debt, but this time it's different. How is it different? I was on the verge of tears. She stepped forward and held my face, looking me straight in the eyes. What did you just call me? Master, wrong. Her voice was firm and final. You should call me your wife, don't you know? Snakes are sensual by nature, but we're also fiercely loyal. Once we choose someone, it's for life and death. The black dragon burst out laughing as he circled overhead, looking down at Liu Wanning with contempt. Who do you think you are? So it's you, the little worm who failed her tribulation. A snake dares act up in front of a true dragon? Then today I'll eat you too. Liu Wanning's eyes went cold. She let go of my face and turned to face the black dragon. A murderous aura exploded around her. Lay a finger on my husband, and it's war. She turned into a streak of blue light and shot skyward. She crashed straight into the black dragon. The two figures blasted through the roof, fighting beneath a sky full of lightning and thunder. Every single collision came with a deafening boom, and even the heavens changed color. But gradually, the dragon roars grew stronger. While Liu Wanning's presence kept fading, a bolt of lightning tore across the sky, and Liu Wanning, like a kite with a snapped string, came crashing down right in front of me, blood spilling from her mouth, her face white as paper. See that? That's fate. The black dragon circled overhead, his voice crashing like thunder. A snake is just a snake. It can never become a dragon. My dear son, you carry the blood of a true dragon, and you still pinned your hopes on some worthless snake demon. What a disappointment. I clutched Liu Wanning tightly, my heart twisting in pain. The true dragon blood inside me surged, and a chill spread through my whole body. I looked down at the pale face in my arms, and whispered, Master, haven't you always wanted to become a dragon? Then today I'll make that happen for you. Before she could react, I forcefully reversed all my meridians, gathering all my dragon blood into my heart, then spat out a mouthful of burning heart's blood, and forced it all into her body. Liu Wanning let out a sharp, desperate cry, but it was already too late. A pillar of golden light burst out of me and poured into Liu Wanning's body. I could feel my life slipping away fast. My dragon essence completely disappeared. A bone-deep yin chill replaced the pure yang I used to have. From that moment on, I would fall into endless darkness, becoming an extreme yin fate. Meanwhile, bathed in golden light, Liu Wanning's body swelled, transforming into a massive green serpent. Then, in the very next second, something unbelievable happened. Her green scales instantly turned silver white. 4 claws grew beneath her. A huge pair of green wings spread from her back. Her eyes became clear-slit pupils. Dragon horns rose from her head. A majestic silver-white true dragon coiled high in the sky. In that instant, the world changed color, and dark clouds rolled overhead. No way! How can a snake become a true dragon? For the first time, fear flashed in the black dragon's eyes, and he turned to run. The silver dragon opened her mouth. A terrifying blast of dragon breath shot out, locking the black dragon in place instantly. His body started sizzling under the dragon breath. Those black scales cracked apart inch by inch. He let out a blood-curdling scream, but he couldn't break free of it at all. Then the silver dragon beat her wings and bent space itself, appearing above the black dragon in an instant. Her massive claw carried enough force to tear space apart, and came crashing down on the black dragon's head. The black dragon's body exploded into black smoke, and the golden-white dragon breath burned it to nothing. It vanished into the sky with the dark clouds. The next moment, rainbow clouds filled the sky, and dragon energy poured over the earth like rain. I couldn't hold on any longer, and my body fell limp backward. A warm presence caught me. The silver dragon rapidly shrank, returning to Lu Wanning's human form. Her forehead pressed against mine. Her soft lips brushed over mine. A warm current poured into my body. "Honey, go to sleep." That was the last thing I heard. Everything went black, and I completely lost consciousness. I don't know how much time passed, but when I slowly opened my eyes, I was back in my familiar bed. Sunlight was pouring in through the window. At my bedside was a letter, a marriage contract, and a green dragon-scale jade pendant. I opened the letter, and the familiar handwriting leapt off the page. "My love, the Dragon King is dead. Your extreme yin fate can't be fully cured. But with my cultivation as a true dragon, I've bound it to the dragon-scale jade pendant. As long as you keep it on you, it'll suppress your extreme yin fate. As for me, I have to face my own tribulation now. The 18 Phoenix women have already sworn a blood oath. They've paid back the dragon blood debt they owed you. I've already severed their karmic ties. From here on out, none of you owe each other anything. Live well, and wait for me to come back. Your wife, Lu Wanning." My fingers brushed the words on the page. The lingering warmth still felt real. I pressed that dragon-scale jade pendant to my chest. A familiar warmth rose from it, just like Master's palm. After Master left, I didn't sink into despair. Instead, I threw myself into cultivation, taking everything Master had taught me, and engraving it into my bones. Bit by bit, I broke free of the fate that once bound me. My cultivation kept growing deeper, until it reached an unbelievable level. After stabilizing my cultivation, I took that old marriage contract and traveled across the world, searching everywhere for Master's traces. And finally, at Kunlun's tribulation platform, I found a faint wisp of green light. That's when I learned that when Master faced her tribulation, she had run into a heavenly catastrophe she couldn't survive. To protect the mortal world, she chose not to save herself. Instead, she shattered her own soul, and used all her cultivation to guard the banks of the Yellow River for 100 years. She left behind only the core shard of her main soul, and it fell into reincarnation. After learning the truth, I refused to live on alone, so I went to the Yellow River god, and offered up my true dragon bloodline as a sacrifice, just for one chance to enter reincarnation and find her again. Even the river god was moved by my devotion, but he warned me, reincarnation wipes away all memory. Even the soul gets scattered. Whether the two of us would ever meet again would be up to fate. 100 years later, inside a shabby mud house in Yinshan village, a skinny little boy rubbed his sleepy eyes and stumbled toward the backyard to pee. Just as he reached the grass, he heard a faint rustling sound. He looked down and parted the weeds. There he saw a wounded little green snake curled on the ground, its body streaked with blood. It weakly lifted its head. Its slit pupils shimmered with a watery glow. There wasn't a trace of ferocity in them. If anything, it looked like it had been wronged. The boy wasn't scared. Instead, he felt an odd pang of sympathy. He crouched down without even thinking. He couldn't explain it. That little snake just felt strangely familiar to him.